Welcome back to Welwyn Garden City in Hertfordshire. We've already had a look tonight at how things got so serious, but how can we get ourselves out of this mess? Well now, so much for gizmos and ideas to save water inside the house. But what about outside, that great institution, the British Garden, dependent as it is, of course, on those endless summers of grey drizzle and winters of downright saturation? Well, it could be that if the drought continues in some parts of Britain, things really are going to start changing quite significantly. So, to give us some pointers as to how you can help your plants and conserve the water you've got, we have none other than the 80s popstar turned millennium gardener, Kim Wilde. Kim, some general pointers for people to help them preserve what water they've got on their land.
Well, there's so many ways of saving the water that you have on the land, but a few of the main ways are by mulching. If you mulch your soil, it will stop the moisture from escaping, and it will also inhibit weeds, and weeds are real hungry little things, and they'll have all the water that's going. So it's a really good thing to do. You can use things like bark chips I'm using here, or mushroom compost, or well-rotted manure. I mean, there's so many different mulches available.
Saves labour, less weeding, and keeps the water in.
Yeah. Good idea. And also shelter. I mean, wind takes a lot of moisture out of plants, and Nula's garden here is a beautifully sheltered garden, but anywhere that's exposed, you want to perhaps think about putting up hedges, fencing, something to stop the wind taking all that moisture out of the plants. Right,
and some good old-fashioned ideas. Let's wander over here to discuss that great institution, the water butt. Yeah. I'd imagine they're pretty popular now, aren't they, with conditions the way they are?
They really are, yeah. They've sold out at the local garden centre that I went to. So you know, you have to put an order in for one now, and a really good idea too. Save all that water that's coming off your roof and put it to good use. Absolutely.
Right, now they actually have in this garden, not everyone will have one, its own irrigation system, black pipes everywhere, but you can't use that during the ban, can you?
No, of course not, but it's a really good system to have. You know, the water goes straight where it's wanted, right down onto the roots. It's not wasting any through evaporation like the sprinklers do, which are a real waste of water, not a good thing to do at all.
And so to the plants then?
Most of them, in fact, all of them really. This hawthorn hedge is a really good drought-resistant native plant, great for wildlife as well.
Right, even the good old-fashioned hawthorn then, so they still work well in drought?
Yeah, I mean, people often associate drought-resistant planting with just Mediterranean plants, but it includes our native species as well, betula and hypericums. And here we've got alliums from the Mediterranean, and they're a really good drought-resistant bulb. They're going to look beautiful soon, so Nula's got a very drought-resistant garden here anyway.
Right, well, let's give some ideas straight to Nula. She's over here working away. You've brought some plants here yourself, Kim. Tell us what you've got here and what use they're going to be to Nula. She's already pretty well set up here. She's kind of done it right. But...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've already got things like the hebes and the mahonia and the pyracantha behind us, so they're all really drought-resistant plants, and the majority of everything you have in the garden is. But something like more ornamental, for instance, like this pampas grass. Yeah. I mean, this is a dwarf one, so it's not going to, like, take over the garden. But very beautiful plumes later in the summer. I really think grasses are great for drought-resistant gardens.
Now, that looks quite dry, but I'm really surprised at this one because it looks so green that you'd imagine it would need quite a lot of water, and it just doesn't look like a sort of plant that's going to tolerate lack of rain, but would that be okay?
It is. Good old native honeysuckle. It's a great wildlife plant too, and perfectly adapted to drought conditions. You know, the key thing is when you're planting these plants is to give them a really good start and put plenty of compost in the hole when you're digging them, and make sure that you give them a great start. But there's lots of great plants here. I notice you've already got some in your garden, like this Vitinia. It's a really lovely structural shrub and will make a good screen.
It's such nice colours all year round.
Really attractive shrub from Asia, and then of course good old ivy as well, a really great wildlife plant. And I love cordylines. I think they're so attractive, especially in containers with lovely bedding plants underneath, and they'll deal with a great amount of dryness. This is Alchemilla mollis, which is a fantastic ground cover plant, perfect for keeping moisture in the ground, and it'll self-seed around the garden, so a really good value plant.
Well, great ideas here. There is a lot we can clearly do, but they're good for, obviously they're good for the garden, good for cover, good for drought resistant, good for the insects and good for wildlife. Can it all be that easy?
Absolutely, it is, from annuals to bulbs through to structural shrubs that we have here. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands of plants to choose from. It's not just a matter of, oh, I can only plant lavender, I can only have a Mediterranean garden. There are so many different plants, and we've had a look at them here. So there's real hope for every gardener, whatever their taste.